welcome back to Marcus Picks. Today I'm going to talk about lighting, LED lighting in particular, for soft lighting in photography. It all started back when I was using my Westcott softbox, which had this inside of it. This is what's been around forever. It's the old standard. It's called a spider light. It has 6 sockets, and they were using compact fluorescent, daylight balanced bulbs. This is what's been around forever for soft lighting for portraits and indoor photography. They call this daylight balanced. I always thought it was kind of greenish. You know, I don't know, I just compared to what's out now, this looks kind of greenish in color, and it wasn't that bright. So I wanted to see, how can I replace this old school stuff with new LED lighting? So I've been experimenting on my own. Sure, they have lights like this over here. It's like, you know, a 300 aperture. It's an LED system that works for this, but it's not super bright. I wanted to see how far I could push this, and I wanted to do this on my own, figuring out, because they have you can get LED lights for anything nowadays. So I wanted to see, what can I screw into this, because I've already got a bunch of these that go inside of a softbox. Well, the first thing was they have LED lights like this, and I'll put the links below, that look almost just like the ones that I was using. That's what it looks like. It's a spiral bulb. It's got LEDs in the spiral, which is kind of similar to what they were using for the compact fluorescents. These are actually really good. They're not super bright, because there's only so many LEDs you can stick in a spiral. But when you put 6 of them together, you get a nice soft light. And these particular ones in particular actually produce a nice pure white light. LEDs also have different color variations. They're all over the place. Some of them are greenish, some of them are bluish, some of them are pure white, and then they even have more tungsten-y ones that are more warmy, orangey color. Well, this was a start. This was a good start, and it produces a nice soft light. But I wanted to take it even further. I wanted to see what was out there. And as you can see on here, there's different kinds of LEDs. There's everything from little ones. I like this one. This is actually my most favorite. Standard one like this, and then big ones, big giant ones like this. These ones, look at all the LEDs on there. These are all LEDs. This is insane how much they can put on, and these are cooling fins and everything. But this thing here, and they have some on top, this is what they use now to replace the lights on the light posts out on the street. These are street lights, and they have a bigger socket underneath, but these produce a lot of light. So I ordered a bunch of these, and just different kinds, to see, you know, how bright can I make an LED. So I had to get a socket adapter where you have a big, you know, this is a big giant light adapter, and then you have an adapter that makes it fit into a standard household socket. And then what I did is I went to Home Depot and I bought like a standard light socket thing, and I screw that onto there. Okay, so now we have that. And then what I did is I screwed it. I got a little resourceful at Home Depot. I bolted the light socket onto a metal flange, and then got, you know, a pipe, and then that became my thing to put on the light stand. And this thing is pretty darn bright. This is a different kind. Look at all the LEDs on here. This thing is super bright for a single LED that's sitting. Now, these things are so heavy that this is the only thing you can really do, is you have to have it balancing vertically. You can't do it, you can't stick it in one of these things, because the weight would just snap it off. It wouldn't work. So you have to have these vertical to be balancing on a light stand. And that's what this is. And this thing is pretty darn bright. You could also have Sometimes if you just want to light up a corner of a room and have reflected light coming off of white walls, you don't need the umbrella. But I'm putting the umbrella in so it's focusing all the light in one direction. You can see what I did. I just kind of made my own little gizmo for holding the umbrella arm. So this is my first step in that. And I'm going to show you the different light levels and the different actual brands. Now this one here I'm not using because it has a fan built in. And if you're doing video like I'm doing now, you're going to hear the fan noise. If you're doing still photography, it doesn't matter. This one doesn't have a fan. This one does. So that kind of determines what I use and what I don't use, because I do a lot of video with audio. But this thing is pretty darn bright by itself. So that was my first step in that. And then I thought, okay, so how many, this is step one. Step two is, now can I put some of these next to each other, make it even brighter? So then what I did, I put a bunch of them in a row. Not the really big ones, this is like a size down. But if you can see what I did is, I went again to Home Depot and I got a vanity mirror lighting thing where you can have a bunch of lights in a row. And I took one of these mounting grip things for mounting onto a light stand, and I just bolted it to the bottom of this. So now you can mount this onto a light stand, as you can see I did here. Now this sounds like a good idea, but these things are so flimsy. You can see how wobbly these things are. So I thought this was a good idea because it's chrome and it reflects light and everything, but it's Mickey Mouse. You can see on the inside of these things, this is really flimsy the way these things are mounted. It's just a thin piece of metal. So if you put something heavy on there, they're going to wobble. So what I did is I took this screw base from Home Depot and I screwed this onto a piece of wood, so it's like solid. Here I have 6 fairly heavy, large, mid-size ones mounted to a wooden board, which is mounted on a light stand, which is hooked up to a large 7-foot softbox, and it put out a lot of really soft light. It looked really good. As you can see, I do a lot of experimenting with different kinds of lights, different ways to mount them, different size softboxes, different everything. So then I took it one step further, and I said, alrighty then, let's see what this one here is. Yeah, all right, so here's my piece of wood. Now you're gonna laugh at this, but this one is, I'm proud of this one. This one I went a little crazy. Check that out. Here's my piece of wood with the screw base, as many as I could stick on there. And then I got these Y adapters that you screw in, and you can see what happens is you can Y adapt out to have 2 going into 1, which then goes into 2, which then goes into another 2, and it branches out like a tree, like a coral in the ocean. So I ended up having like 28 little light bulbs screwed in, and these things are awesome. I like these. I like these the most. They're tiny. They have a whole bunch of LEDs packed really tight in there. They just take the space of a standard light bulb, and they put out a lot of light, and when you put a whole bunch of them together, this thing produces a massive amount of light, and this is actually a good quality light. It's really white. It's not, the color is actually not bad at all. This is what a Y adapter looks like. You think you can get them like really cheap on Amazon, like a set of 5 for like almost nothing, but they're from China and they're flimsy and half of them don't work and the light bulbs don't stay in them very well. You'd be surprised there's good and bad quality of these. The best ones are Leviton, and get them at Home Depot. They cost a little more. I just buy the whole box. I just went to Home Depot and took the whole thing. You can never get enough of these things. So these things are great for screwing in these and having a bunch of them, or you can put a size bigger. There is a certain size and weight that you can go to where even this size is fine. So or you could put another one in here. So now you can have 3 of them, or you put another one in there. And you can just keep going. So you have a light bulb here, one here, one here, and it just keeps branching out. So you have an endless amount of light. Of course, depending on how much weight it can hold, there's a certain limit as to how much weight you can hold. Like this one here, I did the same thing. This is a pretty good sized bulb. It's not too heavy. You can branch these out to a certain level. Of course, you can only hang a certain amount of them on one branch down here before it gets too heavy, but this is still a good size. Again, I'm going to post these brands and the model numbers and everything at the end, down below in the description with a downloadable file that you can use. But these Y adapters these things are great. These are really good. Oh yeah, and I'm kind of proud of this. What is this thing that the umbrella slides into? This is a lock mechanism that I got at Home Depot. I just screwed that into the wood, and then my umbrella just goes right into that, and it fits really well. So it's amazing how resourceful you can be with Home Depot stuff. And you're saving, of course, I mean, to put out this amount of light, to buy a professional LED light, it'd be $1,000. You know, I don't know exactly what this costs, but it would probably be 1/4 to 1/3 of that. And this umbrella doesn't cost but $25, so I don't imagine this being that expensive. So then I took it another step. Here's a spider light version of it. So what I did here is I took one of these spider light sockets and I just screwed a bunch of Y adapters into them and just kept Y adapting out until I had this mess here. But it's this giant, I mean, think about it. Each one of these little LEDs is putting out light, and when you put it all together, you've got a big light source that's this big instead of tiny. And then of course that reflects off the silver, so now you got a giant light source, and then you soften it up with the diffuser. So this actually produces a really nice, soft, bright light source. And I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, I did light each one of these. You can see it's got a little tab down here. And what it is, I have an EV level when I test it at night when it's dark of what the EV level is of each one. Down there, that was a 10.8, and one is 11. So I'm trying to get it up to about 12. That one's 11. This one's 10.4. So this one by itself is already an EV of 10.4 at 6 feet. I measure everything at 6 feet because that's more realistic than these numbers they give you online at 3 feet. But anyway, so this is just what I'm doing with LEDs. I'm going to show you some other stuff that I do for some really super bright lighting. But this is really good for soft lighting that I do for when I do videos, and they have like 2 or 3 of these soft boxes in a row surrounding the person. It's amazing the amount of light output you can get. So I'm just trying to show you stuff to spark your imagination, give you ideas of what you can do on your own without having to buy these expensive $1,000 lights for soft lighting. And I'll put the links below for where I get them. Yeah, of course, by the time this video comes out, or by the time you see this, these things have probably been replaced or updated with even better stuff. These are changing daily or weekly. So that what I give you is just a starting point. My Amazon's filled with these things, and it's just fun to play with them. They're not that expensive, and it's just a great way to light up your stuff, whatever it is you're doing. I like these. These are my favorite ones. These little things, they're called corn bulbs because they kind of look like corn cobs. That's kind of the shape that they're in with the little corn pieces on there. So just look up corn bulbs on Amazon and you'll have an endless amount of them. They don't take a lot of electricity, they don't produce a lot of heat, they're quiet. If you drop them and they break, they won't poison you with mercury gas like the compact fluorescents do. This is really old school. This is the way to go. So anyway, I just thought I'd inspire you with my crazy homemade lighting, but it works, you know? I mean, look at this. Think of the amount of light this puts out and how big of a flat light source this is. And these reflector umbrellas are like 25 bucks by Godox. I'll put the link down below. So you can have a whole bunch of these in a row and have really soft lighting. And I'm going to show you in the next video a real easy way without a light meter to test how bright the lights are comparatively and what colors they really are. Like, are they greenish, bluish, or whatever. I'll tell you an easy way. You don't need a color meter, you don't need a light meter. I'm going to show you the easiest way to tell which lights are the brightest or the darkest and which ones are the whitest. Okay, well, that was my little thing for today for photography inspiration. Subscribe, tell your friends about this channel, because I come up with all kinds of weird do-it-yourself stuff and things that I try to think outside the box of how can I do the same things that big expensive things are doing, but cheaper and more fun and do it yourself, because it's kind of fun to do things yourself. And I give a lot of free stuff away. Whatever, some of the stuff, I try everything, I try all kinds of different things. Whatever it's all right, I'm not too crazy about it, I give it away. I experiment with a lot of stuff. So stay tuned to this channel, subscribe to it, keep checking in, because I give away a lot of stuff. Even if I get tired of something a month later, I give it away. I don't even try to sell it on eBay, I just give it away. So, Marcus Pix, M-A-R-K-U-S-P-I-X. Stay tuned for the next one. I'll see you around.